second day since the National Identification Authority embarked on a strike in demand for better conditions of service. Well, we're here at the national headquarters in Accra to gauge the mood of what is currently going on. Now, upon our visit, we saw scores of customers throng the place, most of them unaware that any strike has begun. They express their frustration that they need these Ghana cards so they can get a passport and subsequently travel. Others also need this card to get their bank documents intact. Well, they say they do not know what to do now.
I'm from Sweden. I came here to come and do Ghana card, but unfortunately when I get here, they said that they're on strike. And I'm from Sweden. I don't know that they're on strike, but I need the Ghana card for my passport and things, my bank issue and things. But now they said they're on strike. I don't know what to do. I'll go in Sabah.
How soon are you supposed to travel?
It's by next week here. Next week here, because I want to do it. I will bring my best set so that I can do everything together so that I can postpone my passport by next week. By next week, latest Friday next week. That's it. But unfortunately, I don't know what I will do.
I traveled to Kumasi. I was back on this morning. Then I was trying to do the Ghana card. Because I will travel by this month. So I need a Ghana card to do my passport and everything.
Do you already have a Ghana card, or this is your first time acquiring?
I have a Ghana card, but I lost my purse and everything on 10th April. Yeah, I was working there. They stole my purse and everything from me. So I just lost it. Then I'll come to do, replace another one. Oh, they told me to go and just get a police report before they can do it. So I just went there this morning. Then I got the police report. So since I got here, they said they are on strike.
Maybe I just my Ghana card. Now so Ghana card in my year da wish. Office na makoho enemba ha yesi ekos like ntimi hu ese na mini wan si de kura me pe me Ghana card akobanga akogyi sika yesi enye mame na de eme ya wo mu kura ne se mba ya yesi ahohoofo de omo de etimi ya mom ne ya tie mai mu de ye call ye so strike ntimi nti ase Ghana card nye se ma ya so de ne ya start ya na me ye na wo mitimi sole anaju 2 de bo koto line emi wie ye yesi me nkoso otuom ya kire m office bebre me ko eso still me nya me Ghana card na yesi me mla hye na so me ba ya yesi e cost like nti na be den medidi bank wa me ko eso so msi me nkura Ghana card ya yemfa me sika mame.
The seats here will ordinarily be filled to capacity on a normal day, but today you barely see people seated on them because the workers are not around to assist them. Although we're told that foreigners can come and access the facility and get their Ghana cards printed for them or worked on for them. But with the Ghanaians, the personnel to do it for them are on strike. We have no indication yet when they will resume work. From the NIA headquarters in Accra, Kenneth Jesse for joining.
And back here in Accra, my name is Faustina Safa. Thank you for making time to join us here on Newsdesk. Today, we're discussing the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission meeting and engagement with leadership of the Public Sector Workers Union of TUC in the National Identification Authority Division. Now, it comes as hundreds of frustrated applicants, as you have watched, turned away all the time when they come to the headquarters of the NIA following a strike action by the Workers Union, which started on Monday. Well, thankfully, I have a labor expert joining us shortly to discuss the dynamics. Austin Game, he will be joining us shortly. But in the studio with me is the Divisional Deputy General Secretary of the Public Sector Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress, NIA Division, John Sampa. Thank you for your time here on Newsdesk. Now, it's been 3 days, and just as you watched from our reporters, across the country, we, the consumers of your wonderful service, are feeling the pinch. Let's understand what you need and why you're embarking on this strike in the first place.
Okay, thank you very much, and good morning to our wonderful listeners. First and foremost, I'm the Deputy General Secretary of the Public Services Workers Union of TUC Ghana. The workers of the NIA is a member of our union.
Okay.
So it is the divisional union that have declared this industrial action.
Now, let's understand your concerns. Let's get straight into it. Because you say unfavorable working conditions. What are these unfavorable working conditions?
Okay, so, you know, we are all on the government workers that draw on from the consolidated fund and those that are on single spine. We are all placed on the single spine. But apart from your basic salary that you get on the single spine, you have the option or you have the opportunity also to bring justification why certain institution-specific allowances should be given to you. Now, in the country, a number of institutions have been given institution-specific allowance based on their mandate and the kind of work that they do. So the NIA workers are also saying that when we look at the kind of work that we do, when we look at the data collection, the protection of the data that we obtain from the public, and what it takes to preserve this information, and to work also not to be induced or influenced by corruption and other things, we deserve some kind of incentive. So we deserve market premium, we deserve data collection and protection allowance, operational enhancement allowance, and few others. Of course, when you make these demands, you don't necessarily get all of them, but you are assessed based on your justification and also what is happening on the market, and something is given to you.
So you want institution allowance?
We want institution-specific allowance to go along with the normal basic salary that we get from the single spine.
You made mention of other allowances. Let's table them so we know how many demands you'll be going into the negotiation with the Fair Wages and Salary Commission. How many of these allowances would you like? Tell us.
Okay, so when we say institution-specific allowance, it is all the allowances that are allowable or is possible during the negotiation.
Okay.
So I'm not mentioning a particular one, but if you get market premium, if you get anything like operational enhancement allowance, if you get rent allowance, because of the kind of work that we do,
So you want rent allowance?
Institution-specific allowance.
You want rent allowance?
Yes, applicable to those that qualify.
When you say those that qualify, how many of your members do you think qualify for rent allowance?
For example, so far as the organization, the staff have offices in the district at the regional level, our regional directors, for instance, we believe that they deserve rent allowance, they deserve clothing allowance. All these things, they don't have any of them. Those of our staff that are district directors, we believe that they need accommodation. And so if the government is not able to provide them accommodation, a certain subsidy should be given to them to be able to accommodate themselves well. We also believe that the risk involved in obtaining the information and keeping them safe without undue influence from the public is a certain amount of risk, which is higher than the normal risk associated to anybody's work.
But that is part of your job description, to collect data and input the data rightly into the system. Why would you want to be paid allowance for that? Okay,
we are saying that it is not just like that. But you know that there are foreigners, there are people that are not supposed to get Ghana card. They have so many ways by which they influence people. So it goes beyond your normal work. There are people that will set you up, and immediately you falter, your head is on the line.
In the just ended limited voters registration exercise, we had pockets of issues of this kind where NIA officials were influenced to register individuals using fake Ghana card numbers. So we're looking at a bigger picture. We know that you have concerns about your allowances and conditions of service, but as a consumer, some of them are frustrated. I cannot access my passport. I need a Ghana card to go and make a deposit in my bank account. Are you putting into consideration some of our concerns?
Okay, so we are sorry for whatever consumers are going through, but the truth is that this threat of industrial action started very long time ago, started from March. I believe that you have heard in the media, this is about the third time that they have threatened to go on strike. Anytime that we want to talk about this, we are called upon, we start negotiation, we don't we are not through with it. The fair wages will not call you on time. Within management is not paying much attention to us. We believe that we really need to do something. And that is the reason why we have got into, and we have been given warning that if the workers get to a point, as a mother union, our aim is not to encourage our members to go on strike. So if you have understood this strike very well, it is actually called by the workers. We have been telling them that the workers are not necessarily supposed to call their own strike. But you see, when you push them to the wall, you get to a time that even the mother union, they will lose confidence in the mother union, because anytime they talk about their condition, they are not allowed to vent. And so we have gotten to a point where even before the mother union will come in, the workers themselves say that we will not listen to anyone. We are trying with stakeholders to see how best we can bring industrial peace to the workplace, the workers return to work, and make sure that the customers are also served.
Now, I'm concerned about how negotiations so far with the Fair Wages and Salary Commission has panned out for you as a union, because this is not the first time. I know that you'll be meeting with the Fair Wages and Salary Commission. Have they given you a specific time?
Yes, they have given us a time, 2 p.m. on Friday.
Okay.
On Friday.
So you'll be meeting with them. We'll go into your expectations ahead of that meeting. But with meetings you've had with them previously, what has been the posture of the Fair Wages and Salary Commission? Oh,
the posture has been the fact that the government has no money. They are not ready to accommodate any other salary-related expenditure. And so the posture has not been positive. The posture has not been positive.
But we're in difficult economic times. Are you willing to reach a compromise?
Of course. Nelson Mandela says that if you are not ready for compromises, you don't enter into negotiation. But we don't believe that we shouldn't get anything at all. We believe that insofar as other organizations, even in this same condition, have been given something, and they work with them at the same district and regional coordinating council, and they see that somebody is a civil servant, he has about 35% allowance to his basic salary. And that even when you look at the mandate of the NIA, they realize that my office is far busier than this person's office. The person will not listen to you. That is the reason why Labour keep on saying that the single spine itself has outlived its usefulness. And that it is now time. The single spine has no longer been fair to people. And so it is the unions that have really restrained people and contained. Other than that, many people will be on the street, because you are all doing the same work, or you are even doing more. You go to the office, you see some other offices, you don't know what they are doing. You see that you are so busy, your job is so risky. If you have followed NIA, a number of their staff are in prison. And sometimes management is so proud to talk about the fact that this person has taken 400 Ghana cedis as a corruption, and so we have prosecuted the person, and the person is in prison. This is risk, very, very precarious environment. And so what motivation you are supposed to give to the workers, you have not given to them, yet you will make sure that you enforce every rule that goes with the work. Obviously, the workers will say that, yes, we are ready to make sure that we are responsible, we are doing our work dutifully, but you must also be responsible and take good care of us.
It's been 3 days already. How far are you willing to go until your demands ahead?
We strongly believe that we will have a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. We have received some few calls from national security. The National Labour Commission has also invited us for a meeting today at 11. We strongly believe that we should be able. Of course, it is already a warning that if it is to just order the workers to go and work, the truth is that we will not be able to do that. But where government is committed to meet us halfway and to make sure that our concerns are attended to, address, where justified something is given, and where it is not possible, we are pleaded with to actually understand the situation. Obviously, we are ready to compromise, but not to actually leave the negotiation room with empty hands.
Okay, so when you say not empty-handed, give me your top 3 priorities that you will not leave the negotiation table without.
Or, as I have told you, that we are looking for at least some few institutional allowance. If we can get even one, but the percentage is very high, like 40%, of course, we may be okay. If we can get 2, and we have about 20 and maybe 30, maybe having 40 or 50, we are okay. The truth is that I have not brought all the issues that we are negotiating on. I have put them together and called them institution-specific allowance. Now, we believe that when we meet with the fair wages, we'll be very objective and open-minded, and we will listen to them. We will also want to put our case across. And I strongly believe that with national security, maybe with the Flagstaff House involvement, we should be able to get a compromise and resume to our work.
So, as we wrap up with this conversation, for people watching, listening, should government fail to meet you halfway? What should we expect?
Why should government fail to meet us halfway? If the government fails to meet us halfway, then it is not our making, but it is a government making.
And so therefore?
And so therefore we are on strike.
You're not willing to compromise?
We are
even
ready,
for us,
we
the
are
consumers?
ready to compromise as much as the government is willing to do something. But if your employer says that you are not entitled to anything, go back to work. The truth is that even if we are working, we will not be able to work well, and that will be more dangerous. So the truth is that as much as we are willing to compromise, the government and all stakeholders must also be willing to compromise. We are all in this country, and we all see whatever is happening. The truth is that in this particular season, as trade unions, we are very careful not to speak certain language as if you are against a particular political party. But we are in this country, and we know that our employers have not tightened their belt at all. And we will not compromise to tighten our belt beyond our elastic limits.
Thank you so much for your time here on NewsX. John Sampa giving us updates about the expectations ahead of the union's negotiation with the Fair Wages and Salary Commission. Is coming up on Friday. We'll be monitoring the situation. He tells us at 2 p.m. they'll be meeting with the Fair Wages and Salary Commission. They want key concerns addressed. They're pushing for institution-specific allowances, and they're saying that they're not backing down except government heeds their call. We'll be monitoring the situation across the country, but we are your election headquarters. So let's take you to Kumasi. Nana Boakye Yadom has been on the campaign trail of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He's wrapping up his tour in that region. He joins us live here on NewsX with more. Nana, what can you report? What new promises have been made? And I'm hoping you can hear me. I'm asking what new promises have been made.
Well, Aisha, we are currently at the Kwabri East District where the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is interacting with chiefs and people here. Well, a lot of promises have been made by the Vice President since he began his tour in the Ashanti region. His flat rate policies, issues of employment have been raised yesterday when he had his Youth Connect with youths here in the Ashanti region. He has made several promises when it comes to health infrastructure in the Ashanti region. Here, one of the major concerns about residents in the Ashanti region have to do with congestion at the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital and some stored hospital projects, including the Sewua Regional Hospital and then the Aferi Military Hospital. Well, the Vice President and the flag bearer of the MPP has been making some promises with regards to the completion and commissioning of these projects. He says that the Sewua Government Hospital is expected to be commissioned somewhere in July, and then the Aferi Military Hospital to be commissioned by August. Several promises have been made by the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He's inspecting road projects here at the Kwabri East District. This place has some concerns when it comes to road infrastructure, and that is why the Vice President has to take turn to visit the Kwabri East District to inspect the road project here. He has been interacting with the chiefs here, and the Vice President is expected to also lay out his vision when it comes to road projects in the Kwabri East District. So I have with me the Regional General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, who has been monitoring the Vice President's tour. But before that, I must say that the Vice President will be visiting the Asante Hini Otumfuose II somewhere around 12 p.m. to have some interaction with him. Before that, he has already had a similar engagement with the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs, where he made a promise of giving them living allowances as part of efforts to improve traditional councils and then traditional rule in making sure that they form part of Ghana's governance system. Lawyer, several promises have been made by the flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Road projects in the Kwabri East District. What do you have to tell us?
we are going to keep to our promises like we've done before. At the time that we were promising Ghanaians that we're going to have free SHS, our main opponents told the whole of Ghana that's not going to be possible. And if it were to be possible, it would have been done by Kwame Nkrumah long ago. And it would only be possible after 20 years. But today you are witness to the fact that free SHS is on course. And we are going to maintain that. So every promises that we are keeping, we are promising, we will keep the promise when it's given the nod.
So looking at health projects in the Ashanti region, he says he's going to complete Sewa and Nena Ferry. How sure are you about that?
The facility is completed. What is left is the road leading to the Sewa Hospital. And then for the Sewa Hospital, we need transformers to be fixed exclusively for the hospital. If that is done, I can assure you by the end of July, what I've heard is that by the end of July, it is possible that it may be open to the public for use.
Thank you so much. And that is lawyer Adomapia, and he is the Ashanti Regional General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. We are at the Kwabri East District constituency, I must say, where the Vice President has been having some short interactions with chiefs here, with his promises on making sure that their roads are fixed any moment from now. The Vice President will be moving right away from here. His interaction is done, so he'll be moving right from here to the Menshia Palace, where he'll be having a short interaction with the Asante Hinutumfo or say Tutu the second. That is the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, in your shot. He's moving straight to the Menshia Palace to have an interaction with the Asante Hinutumfo or say Tutu the second. Later onwards, he'll be meeting traders and queen mothers at the Kumasi Central Market. He has laid out his vision to expand the second phase of the Kumasi Central Market, and so he'll be having an interaction with the traders. Currently, we are done with this interaction here at the Kwabri East constituency. The major promise for the people of the Kwabri East constituency is to fix their roads, to make sure that all the dilapidated road networks are tiled in no time. So in your shot is the big bus carrying the high profiles for joining Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign in the Ashanti region. Lawyer Adjoa Safo is here, the former majority leader, Oseche Mensa Bonsu, alongside Dr. Anthony Siaswari. His main opponent in the MPP's presidential primaries, Kennedy Japan, is also in the bus. We can see Kennedy Ohine, Kennedy Japan.
Well, that's Anabuachi Adam giving us an update on Dr. Bawumia's tour in the Ashanti region. He's been making some new promises, promising to fix some road networks leading to the Kwabri East District. We'll be monitoring the promises on both campaign trails, both the NDC and the MPP, and give you updates in subsequent bulletins. But Dr. Bawumia also has been promising Ghanaian businesses that they will receive tax amnesty in 2025 on their operations. Now, the move will be part of efforts of the country's transition to the flat tax rate system, where every Ghanaian would have to pay a single rate on taxable goods and services. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia made this pledge when he engaged some of the importers and exporters in the country. Well, President Akufo-Addo in the December general elections has also pledged that he would live up to the expectations of Ghanaians, making sure he hands over power when the time is due. Let's get more on this because we're on the campaign trail. Let's bring in Professor Lord Mensah. He's an associate professor of finance at the University of Ghana Business School. Thank you for your time here on Newsdesk. Now, it's a campaign season across board. It's the campaign season, and a lot of the presidential candidates for the various parties have been making pledges. Now, key among them is to cut down on the tax burden on the business community. But we want to find out how feasible is this?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. And good morning to your viewers. You see, some of these promises, we may have to be careful, are promises that may win elections, but at the end of the day, it will come at a cost to the economy. The reason why I'm saying this is that we're talking about flat rate, but then we've already gone into a program with IMF, which we made projections with the variable rate that we have. Remember, tax to GDP is around 14%. And in the IMF program, we promised that by the end of the program, we should be able to raise it to, 18% to GDP. And so you ask yourself, if you are introducing flat rate, at what threshold would that be to make up for this, agreement that we have with the IMF? I mean, if the economy has gotten to a point where we think flat rate is good, we may have to do a thorough assessment to see, whether indeed the flat rate that is being promised is ideal or not. But from where I sit, I think we're not in the economic condition that requires, a flat rate, because we need a revenue. And we've been complaining about government revenue here and there, and especially when government is not ready to cut down expenditure to the tune that will have impact on our budget. So from where I sit, I think, it's a promise that may win, elections, but then in the end, it may come at economic cost to the state.
So if we're scrapping key taxes like the e-levy, like Dr. Bawumia has promised to, and the road tolls are not functioning, what alternative source of funding do you think government can explore to ease the burden on the business community but still meet up with their financial expectations for the year?
Of course, government, has promised of, reducing the number of ministers and then reducing governors' expenditure. And so if you reduce expenditure, then obviously, giving way to taxes, is something that you can easily absorb on your balance sheet. But then we have to be careful, like I said, because if we don't determine the threshold very well, we're going to have a problem with the impact not being evenly distributed. Those imported, some of them import more than others. And if you are giving way for a flat rate, then you should ensure that the multiplier effect of their product that they are importing into the economy will be so huge that when you are taxing within the economy, you make up for the possible losses that you have as a result of, providing this flat rate. So I think it needs to be thought through well.
Experts have argued that overburdening the business community with excessive tax, it's a problem. But then looking at how we deal with our business community in Ghana, what ways do you feel government moving forward can help them, but yet not hurt their coffers financially? Because we're looking at across the country, the business community, they complain that it's becoming increasingly difficult to do business in Ghana.
Yeah, on the surface, it is becoming difficult because we know levies that are being introduced at the port, and then also inflation, prices of, goods and services also going up. It is expected that doing business will be difficult in general. But the question I always ask myself is, most of these businesses are informal, and therefore they're operating underground. Nobody knows, the exact profit they are making. And so therefore, to determine their after-tax profit has always become a problem. And so when you are negotiating with them, it's like you are negotiating from the blind side, which you don't know much information about what is happening in their books. And so from where I sit, the only way government can help them better and better help them is to, make sure that, they disclose. And when you disclose, that is when government will get to know that indeed the taxes that are being introduced, the levies, are sweeping away your profit. And as a result of that, you are not making anything. But as we're speaking now, it's like we're just making, statements, from spaces that we don't have much information on.
Thank you for your time here on Newstext. Now, let me also bring in Clement Boateng. He's the first national vice of the Ghanaian Union of Traders Association. Professor Lord Mensa, just stay with me. Don't leave yet. Let me bring in Clement Boateng. Now, Clement, thank you for your time here on Newstext. What will it mean to the trade community if some of these taxes are reduced?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Boateng, I can hear you loud and clear. I'm hoping you can hear me. Thank you for your time here on Newstext. Now, we're finding out from you what it will mean for the trade and commerce sector if some of these taxes are cut down and reduced?
Yes, good morning to your cherished listeners.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me. Yes, I think you are all aware that Guta has been complaining for quite some time now for the high cost of doing business in this country. Because if you import goods to the port and you are going to clear those goods, you have to contend with about 22 levels in taxes that you have to, pay before you'll be able to clear your goods. And as you all know, we have various duty regimes for every item that you are supposed to pay. Some are 25%, some are 30%, some are 35%. So depending on the duty rate that you are supposed to pay, if you aggregate all the duties that you are supposed to pay, you are to pay about 50 or 55% of your import value. So assuming you brought goods worth maybe $100,000, that means you are supposed to pay maybe about 50,000 or 45,000 or 50,000 as your duty component. And we think it is not the best interest to business. It doesn't augur well to business. It has a very negative impact on business. Coupled with interest rates, coupled with inflation, coupled with CD depreciation that we are even currently contend with. We think all does not augur well for business, and that is the reason why we have called on government, to try as much as possible to, address the issue of duties. If you even talk about the benchmark reduction, because in 2019, we're in the same page, and we call on government, to do something about duty rates, and it was there that government, brought in a benchmark reduction where 50% across goods and then 30% on cars. But benchmark reduction has been taken away since last year. So we are back to the status quo. And if you also look at the weekly review of the exchange rate at the port, which the benchmark as the duties that you have to pay, it also goes to compound the whole situation. And that is why we've called on government to try as much as possible to do something about that.
To Professor Lord Mensah, and he argues that the business community have been making this demand for quite a long time now. But you fail to declare your expenditure, you fail to declare your revenue. So how can then government come to your aid? Is this something the business community is willing to do moving forward? If all the businessmen in your union decides to declare their data, their documents, expenditure, revenue, so that government knows that, okay, this is how much we're working with, and this is what we can do to fix the problem. Is this something you're willing to consider?
No, how do we, if Prof talks about businessmen failing to declare their income or their revenue, I'm not in agreement with Prof, because currently, with even the introduction of Ghana card, there is no way that you can escape, payment of your taxes, because once your goods comes to the port and your Ghana card is indicated, because already it has been captured in the icons. So how can you run away with payment of taxes? You can never do that. You can contact GRA every now and then. GRA is on our neck. And at the end of every year, you have to send in your statement of account for GRA to assess you and give you the required taxes that you are supposed to pay. So you cannot escape that. So if Prof says that, I am not in agreement. As far as I'm concerned, people are paying taxes as they have been assigned by GRA to pay. But what we have been complaining is also about the VAT, because we think the structure of the VAT is not in the best form, because we cannot live in a situation whereby we are all doing business in the same market, But then we have three forms of payment of VAT. We have people who are in the standard regime. We have people who are in the flat rate regime, and we have people who, by the way of not falling into the threshold of the bracket that GRA is requiring, they don't pay the VAT. And we are all in the same market, doing the same business. And the customer or the consumer who is also coming to buy is under no compulsion, to buy from a VAT registered person. So it puts those that are registered either in the standard or in the flat rate at a disadvantageous position. And that is why we have called for the restructure of the VAT. But apart from that, if you want to talk about domestic tax, everybody doing business is paying.
Everybody? Government has complained on several occasions that they need to broaden or widen the tax net because there are some members of the business community that are failing to even declare or even be taxed. Now, you as a union, I'm sure with some of your members, you have the data and the figures. And that's what we're asking you. Is this something you're willing to consider?
We have had a very good relationship with GRA. And every now and then, we do workshops, we do seminars with GRA. So what you said, that government should broaden its tax rate, is something that we have also, suggested to GRA. Because don't forget, it is not people who are in the shops or people who are selling on the tabletop are those that are required to pay tax. We have artisans, we have people doing carpentry jobs, we have people doing masonry jobs, we have people doing electrical jobs, and all those people must be captured into the bracket to pay tax. And we have also even be advising GRA that they need to embark on a serious registration of everybody in the market so that they will be able to capture everybody in the market, because we don't want a situation whereby sub A has registered and then sub B hasn't registered. But if you are able to capture everybody in the market, then at least if everybody is paying something small, government can then be able to realize its revenue. But not that those that are affected into the data of GRA are those people that every day GRA is on their neck, making sure that they have to pay taxes. No, I think that is not the best.
Thank you so much, Clement Boateng. Let's stay with Professor Mensah a bit longer because government says it has reached an agreement with its official creditor committee on debt treatment. Prof, what does this mean to us and how will it impact the economy?
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, this is tied to the release of the IMF debt tranche, the 360 million that is expected. And the signal that we've gotten an MOU with them, I mean, tells you that, yes, there's something good coming. And that is why possibly we've started seeing some, temporary stability in the exchange rate on the market. And so, I mean, the exchange rate as we speak now it's been managed, I mean, mainly by the inflows that we're expecting from this IMF program. So far, we've not put up any structural, short-term measures that will, ensure that we get, the exchange rate stability. But, I mean, effectively, once we have this agreement, happening, that it has been announced, the signal is positive. And that's why we see this stability, the temporary stability in the exchange rate.
Thank you so much for your time here on NewsDesk, Professor Lord Mensah, an economist. Now, still on the Finance Ministry, the Investment Holders Forum are picketing today at the Ministry of Finance. Let's get updates on this from Kenneth Jesse. He's a man on the ground. Kenneth, thank you for your time here on NewsDesk. Now, what's happening on the ground?
Stina, so these are the bondholders forum, investment bondholders forum, who have their funds locked up at 4 financial institutions, and they started from one of the institutions where their money is, that is NDK Finance. This is something they've been doing every Wednesday to demand for the payment of their funds that have been locked up at these four financial institutions. So what is happening now is that they are marching to the Ministry of Finance to picket there, to drum home their concerns to the Finance Ministry that they should be declared insolvent, the deposit-taking institutions who have failed to pay their funds, and also their funds should be released to them. They want a collaboration between the Bank of Ghana and the Finance Ministry for this to happen. They have come here several times, but nothing seems to be happening. Let's speak to some of them who we've spoken to before, but you're welcome to Joy News. I mean, you vowed to be coming here every Wednesday to picket the Finance Ministry until your demands are met. You are here again today.
Yes, we are here today, and we'll be here next week and next week after, until the government hears to our cry. Already we have seen some signs already that they are going to pay us, but it's just probably political rhetorics. We will come here until we see demand of our payment. Yes, so we are coming back, and in fact we are intensifying the campaign, and next week this place will be power packed. We are determined to pack this place with our members.
You said you've seen signs. What are those signs?
Well, the presidential candidate of MPP, Alhaji Bawumia, has indicated that the Ministry of Finance is making plans to pay customers of local funds. Whether it is just political platitude or something in reality, we are here to see. Okay. And other political candidates have started talking. And we are in election year. So nobody would like to, relax for this to become a political, game. Okay. So they are, we have seen signs and they are going to pay us.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's speak to the lead convener of the group, Dr. Edu Anani Echi. You're back here again. You've kept your promise of coming here every Wednesday until November.
Yes. The November we said until November because December we will not pick it because of the elections and the Christmas. If our matter is not resolved after New Year, we will continue.
And then have you heard anything from the Finance Ministry?
No. Since the day that we went last week, that they said the deputy minister was in there, the minister was in there, and that they are aware that when they return from their trips, especially the deputy minister, they will call us for a meeting. They haven't called us, so it means they haven't returned.
Okay. One of your colleagues did mention that you've gotten signs of the politicians making promises that these funds are going to be released to you. Is that the case?
What the Vice President mentioned was in respect of the Securitization Commission's revocation, which included the fund managers whose licenses were revoked. They have been paid only 50,000.
While you're watching NewsX, we've been interacting with the Investment Holders Forum. They are today picketing the Ministry of Finance, demanding that their locked-up funds be released. We're taking a quick breather. We'll be back with business, to stay tuned in.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The Senior Manager of Supply Chain at Newmont Ghana, Atua Pimprim Berma, is calling for effective collaborations between industry and academia to enhance the Ghanaian supply and logistics value chain. Over the years, industry has been blamed for not reaching out to research institutions to improve the quality of the operations. Responding to this, he noted that finding the balance between theoretical and practical approaches will greatly affect the socio-economic development of the country.
We are in industry, so we practice. And in industry, we do face challenges. Now, the challenges that we face, we bring in consultants to come and help us to what? To resolve or remediate those pain points. Most of the consultants that comes, majority of them are academians who are working for consulting companies like the Ernst & Young, the Deloitte & Touche, the KPMG, the PwC. Right. So, and it's expensive to have this consultant come to solve your problem for you. Now, so why don't we take our problems to academia academic research to find a solution. In Ghana here, there are companies that buy from outside Ghana, and then when they buy, sometimes when the materials arrive, there are quality issues. Some of them today may not even get the materials on time because of payment challenges. All these things are supply chain risk. Academia can research to give us solution, and we will then implement the solution from the research. When we implement the solution from the research, we may still find gaps, and then we go back to academia, that the solution you give us, this is the gap we've been able to identify in implementation. Then they will do further research. But academia currently is separated from industry, right? And academia is doing purely theory. And we're also doing practice. Now, but in practice, for every problem in industry, there is a theory that supports it. I have this advantage because I cut across academia and industry. So this research that we do, after we've done the research, it should not find themselves on the shelf. We should be able to implement the findings of the research, and then when we implement and it succeeds, we sustain it. If it does not succeed, we do what we call iteration. We go back to check why it did not succeed, and then we start from there all over again.
Now, Ghana's goal to becoming a leading vaccine and pharmaceutical manufacturer in Africa has received a boost as the German Development Corporation has donated 4 servers to the Food and Drugs Authority to help digitize the operations. William Hugo, a cluster coordinator at GIZ Ghana, highlighted that this support will significantly enhance the nation's health security. He made the remarks during the presentation ceremony in Accra.
The German Development Corporation has donated 4 servers to the Ghana Food and Drugs Authority to facilitate the implementation of an integrated regulatory information management system. William Hugo, the cluster coordinator for sustainable economic development at GIZ Ghana, stated that this contribution will significantly aid Ghana's vaccine and pharmaceutical manufacturers in enhancing health security.
Ghana is producing vaccine for the region, perhaps even worldwide. We heard the example of Rwanda, who is very much depending, of course, also on this production. So we want to support this development. We want to bring Ghana to the next level. And for us, the MSE machines that we handed over today, they are very important for the digitalization of the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA. We had in the past, with the amount that we also contributed here, it was more than 3 million euro. And for the future, there is more to come. And I think it's very important for the economic development, but of course also for the whole population of Ghana, that this topic of vaccine and vaccine production is further developed.
Seth Sianeke is the Deputy CEO in charge of health product at the Ghana Food and Drug Authority.
There has been a major boost because since the President expressed the interest for us to become a vaccine manufacturing country, the aspect of regulation has not been left out. Everybody understands that without a strong regulator, the vaccines that we produce will not get a good market. So since then, the FDA has been preparing seriously to regulate the vaccines that we produce in Ghana. And this afternoon's presentation of service will help us to be able to get closer to that goal that we have put before us. We have 2 companies that are preparing to start fill and finish of vaccines. So what Ghana is trying to do is to do backward integration. We'll start with fill and finish, and then we'll be integrating backward. So it's hoped that maybe within 5-10 years we'll be producing our own vaccines in Ghana.
These servers will help the Food and Drug Authority to digitalize their regulatory operations, including the lot release for vaccine manufacturing, and will allow clients to submit and track their applications online.
And that's it for this segment. Faustina will be back to wrap up.
Well, thanks for staying with us, and that's how we wrap up the bulletin here on News 6. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Safo. Have a pleasant morning as you enjoy the rest of our programs.